One more year sounds responsible, another bonus, another vest, another layer of safety, and sometimes one more year really does change the plan. But for many high-asset households, the finish line quietly moves every time they reach it. First, the goal was $2 million. Then it was $3 million. Now it is $5 million. And somehow, quitting still feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. The first thing to say is that the fear is not dumb. Market risk is real. Healthcare uncertainty is real. Family needs are real. Taxes are real. Identity after leaving work can be real too. A cautious person is not automatically irrational. Working one more year may be exactly right if there is a clear gap. Not enough cash, too much concentration, unclear healthcare, too little spending data, or a spouse who is not ready. The question is not whether one more year adds money. Of course it does. The question is what it changes. One more year is useful when it solves a named problem. It may build a cash bridge. It may reduce a mortgage. It may let one more vest diversify into safer assets. It may finish a healthcare transition. It may allow a spouse to align on the plan. It may create enough margin to stop refreshing the spreadsheet every night. In those cases, the year has a job. It is not just time spent. It is a specific repair. That kind of one more year can be rational, powerful, and worth it. The problem starts when the goal moves every time it is reached. The number gets bigger, but the feeling does not change. The household says, "We will quit at $3 million. Then 3 becomes 4. 4 becomes 5. 5 becomes one more bonus. One more bonus becomes one more vest." At some point, the issue may not be the missing money. It may be that the plan has never defined what enough is supposed to do. If enough means zero uncertainty, then enough will never arrive. The extra year has benefits, but it also has costs. Time is one cost. Energy is another. Health can be another. Family availability can be another. Optionality can be another. For someone already financially close, the cost is not only the work calendar. It is another year of postponing the life the money was supposed to create. That does not mean quitting is always right. It means the extra year should be measured on both sides, what it adds to the plan and what it subtracts from life. Here is the material change test. Write down what one more year gives you. Salary, bonus, vesting, benefits, more cash, more confidence. Then write down exactly what changes in the retirement plan. Does the cash bridge get stronger? Does spending become safer? Does healthcare become clearer? Does concentration risk go down? Does the tax plan improve? Does a spouse become more comfortable? If the answer is yes, the year may be doing real work. If the answer is mostly, we would just have more, the year may be feeding a finish line that keeps moving. There is one more uncomfortable truth. At some point, retirement requires trusting the plan. Not blindly, not recklessly, not without stress tests. But no spreadsheet can remove every unknown. The goal is not perfect certainty. The goal is enough evidence, enough flexibility, and enough alignment to let the paycheck stop. If one more year creates that evidence, good. If one more year only delays the moment of trust, name that honestly. Picture a household around $5 million that can plausibly quit, but keeps moving the target. Another year brings salary, bonus, benefits, and vesting. Those are real benefits. But the question is whether they materially change the plan. If the plan changes, the year may be worth it. If only the feeling changes for a few weeks, the finish line may be moving. This is where the decision needs to become concrete. One more year is not automatically good or bad. It needs a job. Maybe the job is to finish a vesting date. Maybe it is to build a healthcare bridge. Maybe it is to diversify stock. Maybe it is to pay down a mortgage. Maybe it is to help a spouse feel aligned. Maybe it is to prove that the spending plan works before the paycheck stops. Those are specific jobs, but if the job is only feel safer, the finish line may keep moving. That does not mean the fear is silly. It means the fear needs a clearer assignment. A cautious person is not broken. Leaving a high-income job is a serious decision, even with millions of dollars. But there is a difference between math changing and mood changing. Math changes when the extra year closes a real gap. Liquidity, healthcare, taxes, concentration, debt, or spouse alignment. Mood changes when the household feels better for a few weeks after a new bonus, then starts worrying again with a larger number. Both deserve attention. The trick is not to let mood pretend to be math forever. A useful extra year should be measurable. At the end of the year, the household should be able to point to what changed. More cash, less concentration, lower fixed spending, a clearer healthcare bridge, a tax plan that is easier to execute, a spouse who understands and agrees with the first decade plan. If none of those changed, the year may still have added money, but it may not have changed the decision. That is the line worth noticing. Before saying yes to another year, try one sentence. This extra year is worth it because it changes this specific part of the plan. If the sentence is easy to finish, the year may be strategic. If the sentence turns into a long, foggy explanation, the household may need a smaller planning task before deciding. What gap are we solving? How will we know it is solved? What does the year cost in time, health, energy, and family life? Those questions make the decision more honest. The answer is not to quit because a spreadsheet says so. The answer is also not to work forever because uncertainty never drops to zero. The healthier middle is to respect caution, then test it. If caution points to a real gap, fix the gap. If caution keeps moving the target after each gap is fixed, it is time to admit what is happening. At some point, the decision is no longer only about maximizing money, it is about deciding whether the money already has a good enough job to support the life you want back. One more year always adds money. The harder question is whether it changes the plan enough to be worth another year of life energy. If it solves a named gap, respect that. If it only moves the finish line, notice that too. The point is not to quit today. The point is to stop using more money as a vague substitute for a clear decision. Ask what the year changes, then decide whether that change is worth the year. If you are close to fire but one more year keeps sounding safer, please subscribe to the channel. I will keep posting practical ways to test whether more work really changes the plan.